G'day and welcome to OzGarage. I know a number of you have been wondering when the next series of OzGarage is coming out, but to be honest with you, I've been busy working on projects like this in front of me. We've had fantastic feedback from you on our Facebook and through our website, so please keep those emails coming because we appreciate it. To get things moving, we thought we'd start with a new series called HOLESHOT. It's a more compact series, but still jam-packed full of technical information. So it's over to our sales manager Matt, who's going to give us an overview on the LS3 engine.
Okay, so in the first edition of OzGarage HOLESHOT, we wanted to show you a favourite engine of ours, being the LS1. Come in a range of sizes from 5.7 litres all the way to 7 litre, and they just lend themselves to modifying like you wouldn't believe. Even just a camshaft in a standard 5.7 with a good exhaust, they can make 500 horsepower, which is a pretty cool thing. We've put 2 turbochargers on stuff like this, making 1,000 horsepower reliably and even with good economy. So they're just an awesome platform to modify. Factory fitted with 6-bolt main caps, a really good oiling system. The cooling system works great. The range of cylinder heads is amazing what you can get out of these things now. Just by porting the cylinder heads, they pick up big power. The factory manifold is a really good thing. 10-to-1 compression. They're like a race engine of old. Go back 15 years ago, you were building a race engine to be something like this, but they're like that standard, and we just build on them from there. Alright, that's enough crap from me. I could talk about these things all day. In fact, I do. It's my job. Now, we'll go in and we're going to show you the differences and what model they come out in. So in front of me right now, I've got an LS1 and an LS3. The LS1 is 220 kilowatts, 5.7 litres in capacity. This came out in VT Series 2, so back in 1999. The LS3, 6.2 litres or 378 cubic inches. These will make 325 kilowatts behind the GDS. Now we'll show you the difference between the whole LS1 range from start to finish. Okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to try and explain to you how to tell the difference between an LS1, an LS2, LS3, all the way through the range. I'm going to start here now with the 5.7. If I'm trying to find out what this engine is, first off I'm going to be looking for is there any identifiable numbers on the front. This one does not have any numbers on there, so I'm pretty sure it's a 5.7. Also, the positioning of the knock sensors. They're mounted in the valley here, tells me that it's also a 5.7. If I look a little bit closer, I can tell the bore is smaller. These are a 3.890 inch bore diameter from factory. If it was a 6 litre block, firstly it's got a 4-inch bore, so it's already a bit bigger there. The knock sensors aren't here. They're in the side of the block, like this engine here. And also it has a 6 litre cast into the front of the block, and then again at the rear of the block. That's pretty much the same from L76, L98, LS2. They're all very, very similar, the blocks. The LS3, obviously bigger in the bore, 4.65 thou, 4 inches and 65 thou. It also has the displacement and demand post in the middle, but key, it's got 6.2 cast into the front of the block. That's really the basics of how to tell the difference between an LS1 or LS3. One thing to keep in mind if you ever want to do an engine swap or use a crate engine, the reluctor wheels and the crankshafts are different, which coincide with different ECUs. This here is a VE crankshaft, it uses 58 teeth. You could count them, but I'm not going to. And on this one here is an LS1, they use 24 tooth. Now that's to work with the early computer. You can't mix the computers up, so if you go and put an LS3 out of a VE in your LS1 with an LS1 computer, it's not going to work. You need to get the reluctor wheel changed or make some software changes or hardware changes to make it work. Okay, so the next thing we want to show you was cylinder heads and how really to identify the differences between them all. This one here is off our 5.7 LS1. They use a cathedral port, what we call the cathedral port, long, skinny, pointed at the top. The rockers are all symmetrical in design, they line up straight. There's a casting number up in the corner. 241 on this one says it's, to me, LS1, 5.7 litre. The cylinder heads are very similar between this and like an LS2 head, which has a casting number 243. They have a slightly different port design, a small combustion chamber, and they're all around a slightly better cylinder head. Next thing we go to the LS3 head, which is big square port, lots and lots of flow. In order to do that, GM had to relocate one of the valves and made one of the rockers offset to make it all clear. So that's another way of being able to tell the difference. If you see offset rockers, and you know it's not an LS1, that's an L98 type cylinder head. The casting numbers, there's a few different casting numbers for this style of cylinder head, so that's probably a little bit too much to go into here. But generally, the offset rockers, the square ports, is going to give you a good indication of what you've got. You can go and grab the GM Performance parts magazine. It has all the do's and don'ts as far as swapping them and converting them, fixing them up and different things. For the record, you can't put a 98 cylinder head on an LS1 because the valves are too big and it doesn't fit on a small bore. By contrast, you could probably put an LS1 head on an LS3, but why would you? One more thing to be aware of when you're playing with LS1s and cylinder heads is the gaskets. Now, being LS1 having a 3.9 bore, LS2 a 4-inch bore, then the LS3 having a 4.165 bore, the head gaskets are different, so you need to make sure you use the right one to suit your application. They can be identified with a factory GM gasket at least, with it saying what capacity is on the side, this one being 5.7 for this puppy here. And that'll fit nicely just there. On an LS3, the valves will actually hit the side of the gasket and then you're in all sorts of hurt.
So that was the LS series engine overview. If you've got any questions or feedback about this episode, don't hesitate to shoot them through to us. Also, don't forget to check out our website at hp-f.com.au for all your LS series power upgrades. Thanks for watching OzGarage HOLESHOT, and we'll catch you next time.